Welcome to another episode of African Policy Heroes Unveiled, where young African leaders share their inspirational stories. My name is Apiwe Hotele from South Africa. I'm a young African leader fellow at the Florence School of Transnational Governance. Today we have a special guest who is a champion of something very close to my heart, the inclusion of women and girls in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Mr. Jean Jacques Iradukunda from Rwanda, who is passionate about community development with a specific focus on women and youth. JJ, welcome.
Thank you, Apiwe.
How are you today?
Very good. I'm doing really well.
Awesome. So briefly tell our viewers about yourself. Who is Jean Jacques?
Yes, Jean Jacques is a young Rwandan and a young African leader fellow in this School of Transnational Governance in Florence. And I am a community development practitioner and a youth empowerment activist. And I focus mainly on empowering youth and women, specifically through educational programs. So we run two programs. One is She Can Code, which empowers girls and women with the skills that they need to have access to decent job opportunities in the developing technology industry. So technology has taken over everything. So wherever you go, technology, AI, and we are making sure that girls and women are competent to also take leads in the developing world of technology. The second program is the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs. So we also empower women and girls to acquire the skills that they need to open businesses or scale their businesses up. So both programs have been going on for the last 5 years, and we're pleased to see the impact that programs are making, and here we are.
Awesome. So, as we navigate our leadership journey, our careers, we always have particular individuals that stand out or shape the kind of people we become. We refer to them as heroes, mentors, whichever one you want to go with. So who would you say is your hero?
My hero is my mama, my mother.
Why is your mother your hero?
My mother
What stands out about her? What are some of the values that you feel like really, impacted the kind of person you are today?
She's awesome. I would say she's a great leader. So, just a little background. When we grew up, we were 6 kids in the family. And, because of the history of our country, my father was not there. So she didn't have a job. She wasn't educated to have access to, different resources that were required. But her commitment, enabled her to find everything that we needed to get food, to get shelter, and also to get the school fees that we wanted to be able to live. So her commitment, despite lack of access to resources, enabled her to take care of all her children, and life has changed, if I can say, and that makes her, an amazing leader and hero for me.
Awesome. So going back in time, what would you say is that one particular thing that stands out about your mom that you integrate in your leadership experience or in your leadership skills today? What is that one thing? You can share a story or any particular action that your mom did that stood out for you.
So, life was challenging in the past. We come from a rural community, there are no resources, and even though it was challenging, I remember our mother sitting us down and telling us, everyone, to have a vision, a personal vision, to make sure that, of course, resources were very scarce. We didn't have enough. But she was like, if you have a vision, even though life is challenging at the moment, you have a better future. So she made sure that every one of us had a vision, and that enabled us to think beyond the challenges that we were going through, and also motivated us to just do what you were supposed to do, and life really changed after that.
Awesome. In one of our conversations, you also mentioned that your mom was a peacemaker, and she always used to emphasize the importance of peace and harmony. Would you like to elaborate on this?
Yeah, so I mean that's part of what some of the things that I remember about her. As we look at the vision and the future, she always emphasized on living in peace and harmony with others, because she believed that whatever we do, whatever happens in life, we must make sure that we are living in peace with others, living well with others, and in harmony in order to just have a good future without having problems with people.
Awesome. So it's quite apparent to me that it's no surprise why you are championing the inclusion of women and girls in STEM and entrepreneurship. What would you say your vision for STEM and entrepreneurship in Rwanda and the broader African continent is?
Thank you. Well, male have been dominating the digital industry, if I can say. So technology industry has been male dominated even now. Among, if I know, 10 software developers, 6 to 8 of them are male. So maybe we have 2 or 3 girls and women, which still makes it male dominated.
Yeah.
Of course, we've done something in the last 5 years, but it is still male dominated, and the impact is huge. So now we have so many young girls and women who could have access to jobs, but now they are not employed because they don't have access to knowledge, resources, and information, because information about the opportunities also enables them to go and start learning in those programs. So one of the vision that we have is to make digital knowledge, information, and devices available to girls and women all over the country. So our program has been only in Kigali because we had limited resources, but we just received funding from one of our funding partners, so we can be able to have digital mobile classes. So now we are able to take maybe 100 laptops in a van and go to a rural community for a couple of weeks to have young people and women and community members in that village to access those devices and learn how they work. And we believe that with that, everyone will be informed on how they work and be able to learn. And probably we are looking at setting up, ICT hubs in all the communities, because of course, as we talk about, Africa, we want everyone needs access to digital resources and information. And access has been a problem, especially access to devices, because they are quite expensive. Sometimes internet is a problem, and we want to make sure Rwandans specifically from all the communities can access. And as we continue to expand our programs, we would like to see Africa where access to digital world is easy as possible.
Wow, okay. I think it's quite critical, obviously, the inclusion of women in the space, and it's something that is most cases and championed by women.
Yes.
So I want to commend you on the work that you are doing in terms of championing it from a male-dominated, as a male, because I think it's quite important to have more males in the space. So what would you say are some of the key critical skills, that leadership skills in particular, that are required in the space of inclusion and entrepreneurship, particularly inclusion of women and girls, particularly from a male perspective?
Thank you very much. Communication is very important. So it's an important leadership skill, because we need to communicate to partners, to people, and something about communication. There are some of the women who would benefit from programs that we run, but they don't have information. So we do a lot of outreach. We do a lot of campaigns to make them aware of that, and it makes communication a very important leadership skill. I also talk about networking, which is looking at people, connecting with people. We, of course, with the same thinking, who want to do maybe similar programs, who can be helpful in a way to see how collaboration could be important, could be established, if I can say. I also talk about teamwork and collaboration, which is very important. So what we have done, we have collaborated with the public sector, with people in civil society, with funding partners, with international organizations, and collaborate. It makes collaboration and teamwork very important and crucial. So the last one that I would add is we call it fundraising, but it could be resource mobilization. So we are trying to empower youth and women with skills that require access to devices which we need to buy. So we need to learn how to get resources, how to get computers, how to get tablets that those people need, and access the ability to mobilize resources is an important leadership skill in this area.
Awesome. So just double tapping on fundraising, because I think this is something that is quite critical. Say now there is a young person who is watching this video and has an amazing program that they're running in their particular country or in their village. What advice would you give to them, particularly on fundraising and resource mobilization?
Thank you very much. Something that is very important about fundraising, so people help people through people. So a funding partner helps rural women through us.
Yeah.
So why? Because we identify the problem that those rural women have. We understood it very, very collectively from their perspective. We did a lot of analysis, we did research, and we also connected with them, we empathized with them, and then we wrote it down, and then we started communicating to people. So something that is very important, funding partners will give their money to implement programs that are impactful and that address an existing problem. So you have to make sure what you are addressing, the intervention you're bringing is existing in the first place, and you have to understand or define how will the lives of the people change if someone has given you the money, because they can give money to other people who can make a bigger impact. So how is giving you money going to be important, not just to you, but to the community members and also to the funding partners? That's very important. And the last one, which is important, so funding partners give money to people running programs because they want to solve many problems at once.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. If a woman is empowered, she will have food for the kids.
Yeah.
So her kids will go to school, and in that way we'll be fighting against children stunting, also fighting against school dropout. So you understand how many problems connect to a woman being able to learn and having skills that allow her to.
So the number of people impacted.
Yes, the number of people directly and indirectly impacted. That is very important to think about. So I mean, looking at the whole aspect and understanding the impact and what would be required to implement the program is very important when you think about fundraising.
There's a whole discussion in STEM, particularly motivating and inspiring young women, about the importance of role models.
Yes.
What would you say is the role that role models play in society?
So, thank you. Role models inspire and advise. So they inspire us to think about the future, to look forward to the future, but also to act. Act, because what you are living today is a decision of is an impact, is a result of decisions you made in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So they should inspire young people, young women specifically, to think positively about the future and also take actions in the present moving forward. Again, the second thing that they should be doing is advice. So we need a lot of advice from those people we call our heroes. And if you have a vision and then you have an advisor on the way as you go towards the vision, then it makes it perfect and tenable.
So in what ways would you say the Young African Leaders Program has impacted your leadership?
Thank you so much for the question. So the Young African Leader Program has impacted me in many ways, but I will mention two or three. So the first one, I was able to understand Africa. Africa. So before I knew Africa as a continent with 54 countries, but I didn't have an idea, for instance, of Africa 2063, the agenda. So where is Africa going and what can I do as an individual? So what do my programs contribute to Africa 2063? What are the security problems? What are the healthcare issues? What are the education problems? So the program exposed me to information that I need to know about Africa, the state of Africa, and specifically what I can do as an individual, as an employee, as a young African, to at least make a small change. Because if I make a small change and you do the same, at the end of the day, we all make a better Africa. That is the first one. The second one is I got connected to young African fellows from 23 countries, and that is very important. Connections and knowing people from other countries is key because we learn from them. We have kinds of knowledge exchange, which is very important. And I'll tell you that in the next 5 months, some of the programs that we run will be implemented in other African countries because I met colleagues here. So that is, I would say that is a massive impact on me. We also met people from big institutions like European Union. Last time we met people from the World Food Programs, which are very important organizations who can be of help, who can be of different helps in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jean Jacques, for joining us today. This brings us to the end of our session today. Please follow Jean Jacques as he continues to do amazing work in the field of STEM and inclusion of women. Of course, as always, follow, like, subscribe, and comment on the STG YouTube page. Peace out.